Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I'm going to show you how to properly remove and replace the entire clutch kit from any Volkswagen Tiguan out there. Today I am working on this vehicle which has the engine 2.0 TDI, common rail, and the engine code is CBAB. This vehicle is equipped with a manual transmission and also this vehicle is an all-wheel drive vehicle. So without any further ado, the first thing which you have to do to begin this kind of job is to remove the battery mounting bracket. You'll have to remove also the air filter box completely from the engine compartment, because only by doing this you'll have access to the gearbox itself. And after that, from underneath the vehicle, you'll have to remove the undershield from the vehicle, you'll have to remove the axles from the gearbox, you'll have to remove the front subframe completely, because if you don't remove the front subframe, it will be very difficult for you to remove the gearbox. It can be done without removing the subframe, but I recommend you all, and in my case, I'm going to remove the subframe completely to give me a lot of access and make my job a little bit easier. Right here, as you can see, the vehicle is lifted up and placed on a jack stand. Also, the front axles are removed out from the front hubs area. As you can see, it's looking like this. You'll have to remove also the 3 bolts which are securing the lower control arm attached to the front hub. You'll have to remove the lower sway bar links brackets. And from here, you'll have to remember that whatever thing you are doing on one side of the vehicle, you'll have to follow it and do it exactly on the other side. As you can see, the front axles are removed out from the front hubs. The sway bar links are disconnected from the sway bar and also from the front subframe. And also the lower control arms are removed and disconnected from the front hubs. From here, in my case, the only thing which I have left to do is to disconnect the steering rack from the steering from the vehicle, because in my case, I choose to remove the entire front subframe with the steering rack still installed over the subframe, because I tried to remove the bolt from the steering rack and the bolts are stuck into the steering rack. The bolt is spinning with the nut, so this is not a very good thing. So in my case, the only option which I have to do is to remove the whole front subframe completely with the sway bar completely and also with the steering rack still attached to the front subframe. It's very simple normally. If you know how to work on these kind of vehicles, it's very simple and it can be done very easy. After that, right here in the back of the front subframe, if you want to and if you like to, you can also remove the connectors from the steering rack which are installed right here underneath this heat shield. In my case, I'm not going to remove them from this area. I'm going to remove the whole cables from the engine compartment next to the battery, and I'm going to lower them completely with the front subframe. And in the last thing which you have to do is to remove the 2 bolts which are securing the exhaust attached to the front subframe. Right here, as you can see, into the engine compartment, I already removed the battery mounting bracket, the air filter completely, and down there, as you can see, it is a little hole. Normally there is a bolt installed into that hole, but I already removed it. And if you want to remove only the front subframe without lowering the steering rack, you'll have to remove that bolt because it's securing the cables attached to the front subframe. Right now, for example, you'll have to go right here into the car. If you decide to remove the front subframe completely with the steering rack installed, you'll have to go right here on the driver's side. You'll have to remove this plastic shield, this plastic bracket, which is installed over the steering rack right here. And there will be 1 bolt which is securing the steering rack attached to the steering column into the vehicle. To remove the steering column from the steering rack of the vehicle, you'll have 1 bolt and you'll have to remove that 1 bolt from right here. And after that, you have to pull it up and it will come out from its place very easy. After you remove it out from the steering rack, you'll have to hold it into the exact same position. I recommend you all to lock the steering wheel, because if the steering wheel is locked, it cannot move left and right, and it will be very easy for you to install it back into the exact same position after the job is finished. Very good everybody, so as you can see, the steering column is removed out from the steering rack completely. Also the steering wheel is blocked in one position, and because of that I will install it later into the exact same position without any worry. Also, this is the little bolt which is securing the steering column attached to the steering rack, and you'll have to use a 30mm socket to remove it out. From here, the only thing which you have to do left is to go underneath the vehicle. I'm going to remove the whole front subframe and then I'm going to disconnect and remove out the gearbox. Like I told you earlier, the front subframe is secured with 6 longer screws which are installed from underneath to the vehicle, and after you remove all of these 6 screws, it will come out very easy from its place. Right here, as you can see, the front subframe is removed completely out with the front sway bar and also with the steering rack itself. This is how everything is looking so far. This is how all the parts are looking. Right here, I have the cables for the steering rack which are installed from the engine over to the engine compartment next to the battery, and into the black plastic box from the fuses from the engine compartment. And right here I have the two connectors from the lower side of the steering rack. I only remove them to clean them and to make sure that they will have no problems with the installation later. And right here, this is the area where the cable from the steering rack will came into the engine compartment, and it will be secured right here into this connector, and also into the fuse compartment, and also into the ground spot from the engine. Right now, the only thing which I have to do left is to lower the gearbox completely out from the vehicle. I'm going to remove all the bolts which are securing the gearbox attached to the vehicle all around. I'm going to remove also the front differential still attached to the gearbox, so I'm not going to separate them. I'm going to remove them all by once. Right here in the back, you have to remove the 3 bolts which are securing the shaft from the front differential to the rear differential. And only after you remove the 3 bolts which are securing it attached to the front differential, you can remove the gearbox and the front differential all by once and pull them out from the vehicle. Alright everybody, so right here, as you can see, the engine is sustained with this special bracket. This is a special tool which will hold the engine right here into the exact same position. I can lower it and lift it in the way I want. Everything is removed, the gearbox is removed out from the vehicle. This is the driver's side axle, and on the other side I have the passenger side axle. Right here, this one from the passenger side is a little bit longer than the one from the driver's side. Right here underneath the vehicle, I still have installed over the engine the old clutch kit, the entire clutch kit. I have them right here. I didn't remove them yet, but I'm going to remove them all by once. I'm going to remove them out. I'm going to clean the area, and I'm going to install the brand new parts back over the engine step by step. Also, right here on the ground, I have the gearbox which I removed from this kind of vehicle. The gearbox, it's very heavy. I recommend all to have 1 or 2 persons which can help you to remove it and hold it while they are removing it down from the engine, because it's very heavy and you don't want to make it fall on the ground or something like that and break it, because you'll have to replace it with a new one and it's very expensive. So just take in mind that it's a very heavy equipment and you'll have to hold it and remove it with more than 2 persons. As you can see right here on the ground, I have the gearbox which I removed from this kind of vehicle. The gearbox is not in a very bad condition. I'm going to clean it, I'm going to wash it and make it look like a new one. Also, I already removed out the clutch bearing. I removed it out. It is secured with 3 bolts over the gearbox, and you have to remove the 3 bolts and then it will come out from its place very easy. Okay everybody, so right here, as you can see, the brand new parts are prepared to be installed back over the vehicle. This is how everything is looking so far. Everything is cleaned, everything is ready to go back over the engine. I also cleaned the back of the engine very well because I want to have a clean surface when I'm going to install the brand new parts back over the engine, and I'm going to show you all step by step how to do it. Moving on with the job, right here on the floor I have the brand new parts which I'm going to install back over the vehicle, and also I have the old parts which I just removed out from the vehicle. The brand new parts are the following. You'll have to install back the brand new flywheel, you'll have to secure the flywheel with the brand new bolts, you'll have to install the clutch disc and also the clutch pressure plate, and in the last you'll have to install over the gearbox the clutch bearing. Right here, the old parts which I removed out from this kind of vehicle were made by the manufacturer by Leo, and the brand new parts which I'm going to install back over the vehicle are made by the manufacturer Luke. In my case, Luke and Sachs are the best manufacturers out there which you can buy for a vehicle related to the transmission parts. So on this vehicle, and the owner of this vehicle decided together with me to replace the whole clutch kit, only because the flywheel which he had installed over the vehicle was making a very weird noise and a very weird rattling noise, and because of that we decided together to replace it completely with brand new parts, because the entire clutch kit will provide you a brand new flywheel, a brand new clutch disc, a brand new clutch pressure plate, and also a brand new clutch bearing. And because of that we decided together to replace it completely with brand new parts. So right here over the gearbox, as you can see, the gearbox is almost ready to be installed back over the vehicle. It's cleaned, it's washed, and in my case I already installed back the clutch bearing. It's installed back into the gearbox, and you have to tie the 3 bolts which are securing it mounted in place to 15 Newton meters. Alright everybody, so as you can see right here over the vehicle, the flywheel is already installed back into its place. I installed all the securing bolts. You'll have to tighten the bolts to 60 Newton meters plus 19 degrees. And in my case, everything is done with the flywheel. Right here in this moment, the clutch pressure plate, the clutch disc are installed back over the vehicle. Everything is aligned and is tightened to spec. For the clutch pressure plate, you'll have to tighten it to 25 Newton meters. After that, right here on the ground, I have the gearbox, which is ready to be installed back over the vehicle. Everything is tightened to spec and is looking great so far. One very important tip, which I recommend all to do and follow, is that always when you are replacing brand new clutches or when you are installing brand new clutches and clutch pressure plates, which has auto adjusting clutches, you have to use a special tool exactly made for this kind of jobs, which will help you to compress the clutch into one position and then you'll have to tighten it to spec. Alright everybody, so as you can see right here in this moment, the gearbox is already installed back over the engine. I tightened all the bolts and installed all the components from around the gearbox and is ready to go back on the road. From here, the only thing which I have left to do is to install back the front subframe completely with the components from the subframe, and then I'm going to tighten everything back to spec, and then I'm going to show you all how everything is looking so far. Very good everybody, so as you can see right here, the job is almost complete and done. I installed everything back over the vehicle is placed back on the wheels and on the ground, and this is how everything is looking so far. As you can see right here, everything is looking and installed back over the vehicle like it was installed from the factory. Everything is tightened to spec because I always like to install all the parts and tighten to spec to make sure that the job is done properly and correctly. Right here underneath the vehicle, I only have to install back the undershield and the job will be done. And also on this vehicle, I choose to replace the ball joints from the left and from the right with brand new ones, just to make sure that in the future I'll have no problems with them. Right now, just look how nicely the clutch pedal is going up and down, very easy, very smooth, without any problems. And in the future, after I'm going to drive the car for a while, I'm going to bleed it again just to make sure that the job is done correctly and just to make sure that I'll have no air into the system. Right now, just look how nicely and how smoothly the shifter is going into the gears. So this is a very good thing. This is meaning that the job is done properly. And as you can see, those are all the things and all the steps which you'll have to do and follow if you want to replace completely the clutch kit from any VW TIGUAN. Doesn't matter exactly which year it is. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video and found it informative, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give me a comment and a like down below. See you next time.